You've seen it 100 times. The hero dies, sword in hand, sad but heroic music swells, the clouds part, and he, freshly washed and scrubbed, is lifted into the sky by beautiful women in armored bikinis. Ahead lies an eternal feast, golden goblets, and brotherhood with the gods. Valhalla, paradise for Vikings. A VIP resort for those brave enough to take an axe to the head. Forget that Hollywood nonsense. If you think Valhalla is the Norse equivalent of a 5-star all-inclusive hotel, I have bad news for you. It's not paradise. It is a maximum security military base. It is an endless Groundhog Day where you get murdered every morning before breakfast. And this circus isn't run by a kindly grandfather, but by a paranoid, one-eyed maniac who knows he's going to die soon and wants to take you with him. Welcome to Just Mythin' Around, where myths get weird. So pour something strong into your mug, preferably something flammable, but don't let go of your weapon. In this hall, peace is just a short technical break between deaths. Today, we are stripping Valhalla down to the bone, literally. Part 1. Logistics of death. Face control at the entrance. Let's start with the basics that everyone gets wrong. Died in battle, straight to Valhalla. Yeah, right. If it were that simple, Odin would have gone bankrupt on catering in the first week. Valhalla is an elite club. They don't just take good warriors, they take the best. And the selection isn't handled by HR managers, but by Valkyries. Pop culture has turned Valkyries into sexy maidens in winged helmets, but the word Valkyria literally means chooser of the slain. Not rescuer, not forehead kisser. Chooser. They walk the battlefield like shoppers in a supermarket, pointing at a corpse and saying, "I'll take this one." Sometimes they decide who lives and who dies just to meet a quota. Yes, a Valkyrie might totally nudge your elbow so you miss a block, just because Odin urgently needs a 4th player for poker. But here is where the real bureaucracy begins, the part the movies skip. There is a death tax. Odin doesn't have a monopoly on the market of dead souls. He has a competitor. And it's not Hel. It's Freya, the goddess of love, beauty, and war. According to the Grimnismal, Freya has the right of prima nocta, or rather, rights of first choice. She takes exactly half, 50% of the fallen warriors to her place, Folkvanger. Just imagine the level of absurdity. You prayed to Odin your whole life, carved runes on your spear, died with his name on your lips, and then Freya comes along and says, "Oh, what a cute berserker. I'm taking him to my flower field." Why? There's a theory it's an old political treaty between the Aesir, Odin's clan, and the Vanir, Freya's clan. Odin, being a toxic CEO, gave up half his assets to avoid a corporate war. But let's go back to the moment of death itself. Have you heard the term straw death? For a Viking, this was the ultimate nightmare. Dying in bed on straw from old age or sickness meant a direct ticket to Helheim, to grey boredom. So there were life hacks. Old kings, feeling the end approaching, asked to be ritually wounded with a spear, a fake battle, so to speak, to trick Odin. "Look, Allfather, I'm bleeding, let me in." Did it work? Unlikely. Valkyries aren't just couriers. They are an ancient AI designed to detect pathos. They have names, and these names speak for themselves. Gerskagul, Spear Shaker. Gull, Tumult. Rangriðr, Shield Destroyer. When a lady like that looks down at you, she doesn't care about your cheap tricks. She needs rage. She needs that gleam in the eye that only belongs to a person consciously walking into death. Moreover, the path to Valhalla isn't teleportation. It's a physical journey. Imagine the logistics, dragging thousands of souls across worlds. Some sources hint that Valkyries don't just take souls, they literally rip your essence, your fylgja, out of your body. It's a traumatic, painful separation process. You don't just fall asleep. You feel yourself being torn from reality. And as you fly toward Asgard, you look down at the world you are leaving forever. No goodbyes, no, I forgot to turn off the iron. Just cold wind, the smell of blood on your own hands, and the icy stare of the woman carrying you to the slaughterhouse. Part 2. Architecture of Bones and Weapons. Interior design by a maniac. So, you passed the selection. The Valkyrie dumped your soul on the doorstep of Gladsheim, the district of Asgard where our real estate is located. What does Valhalla look like? Forget marble columns. The design here is purely utilitarian. The style is military chic. The poem Grimnismal gives us a clear technical blueprint of the building. The walls are made of spears. Yes, not brick, not wood. Spears. Terrible for insulation, I assume, but it looks epic. The roof is tiled with golden shields, and the benches? The benches are covered with chainmail. Comfort level, 0. But it immediately sends a message. Men live here who don't know the meaning of orthopedic mattress. The scale of this structure will break your brain. Valhalla has 540 doors, and they aren't for ventilation. The text states clearly, when our H arrives, 800 warriors will march out of each door, shoulder to shoulder, simultaneously. Math for those who skipped school. 540 doors times 800 warriors. That is 432,000 Einherjar exiting at the exact same moment. That's the population of a mid-sized city living in one barracks. Imagine the line for the bathroom in the morning. Let's talk about the security system of this establishment, because it's Fort Knox levels, but with magic mines. Valhalla is surrounded by the river Thund. This isn't just water you can swim in. The name translates to the roaring or the swollen. There's a theory that the waters of this river are a torrent of weapons flowing at breakneck speed, grinding up anything that tries to cross without permission. Even the dead struggle to cross Thund. This is the first barrier against uninvited guests, like the Jotun, who are constantly looking for holes in Asgard's defense. And then there are the gates, Valgrind. Grimnismal says, the ancient gate, and few know how it is locked. It's not just a bolt, it's a magical lock, the code to which is known only by upper management. Why such precautions? Because Valhalla is essentially a powder keg. Inside are hundreds of thousands of the most aggressive men in human history, pumped full of adrenaline and testosterone. Outside is a world that wants to destroy them. Valgrind holds back the chaos from the inside just as securely as the threat from the outside. And don't forget the smell. Oh yes. Have you ever been to a gym locker room where the ventilation is broken? Now multiply that by 432,000 unwashed Vikings. Add the smell of burnt boar, spilled beer, old blood, and wet wolf fur. The fragrance of Valhalla should knock you off your feet before you even reach the door. This place doesn't smell like lavender. It smells like war, sweat, and iron. But the most interesting part is the exterior. Above the western door hangs a wolf, and above the wolf sits an eagle. And these aren't statues. These are living creatures. The wolf is a symbol of Fenrir, the very beast that will one day eat everyone. The eagle is a symbol of surveillance. It's like hanging a photo of an iceberg in the dining room of the Titanic. Odin decorated his house with a reminder of exactly how that house will be destroyed. That is a level of fatalism we can't even dream of. Before we move on to the menu of this hellish sanatorium, I have a question for you. The Norse choices for the afterlife were specific. Option A, Valhalla, eternal slaughter and drinking in the company of lunatics. Option B, Freya's Folkvanger, the same thing, but with a better view of the garden. Option C, Helheim, a boring, cold, but peaceful existence with relatives who died of the flu. What would you choose? Honestly, I'd consider Helheim. At least there, no one tries to chop your head off before breakfast. Write your choice in the comments. Let's see how many masochists are among us. And while you're down there, hit the like button. It's a sacrifice to the algorithms, much simpler than a sacrifice to Odin. Part 3. Menu and Routine. Viking Groundhog Day. Let's get back to business, or rather, back to our Einherjar, the Army of One. What does their typical Tuesday look like? The morning doesn't start with coffee. It starts with a massacre. All the inhabitants of Valhalla go out into the courtyard, Idavall, and start killing each other. This isn't training, this isn't sparring. They hack off limbs, cave in chests, take off heads. It is a full-blown deathmatch arena. Why? To stay in shape. But as soon as lunchtime arrives, all wounds magically heal, severed heads reattach, and everyone, hugging each other, goes to get drunk. Imagine the coworker you hate. In the morning, you bury an axe in his face, and in the evening, you drink beer with him, the perfect team-building exercise. Now, about the catering. We have two main characters here, and both are animals. First, the boar, Saehrimnir. Every evening, the cook, Andrimnir, yes, the cook is mentioned by name too, it's an important job, catches this poor boar and boils him in a massive cauldron. Everyone eats until they burst, and in the morning, the boar resurrects, whole and unharmed, just to be boiled again in the evening. Saehrimnir is probably the most miserable creature in all of mythology. Prometheus, whose liver gets pecked out by an eagle, at least gets weekends off while the liver grows back. The boar gets boiled every day, for eternity. It is a vegan's hell. And they wash this all down with a product from a goat named Heidrun. No, seriously. This goat stands on the roof of Valhalla and chews the leaves of the world tree. And thanks to some magical metabolic reaction, what flows from her udder isn't milk, but the purest, most potent mead. The flow is so powerful it fills a giant vat from which all 432,000 warriors drink. Just think about it. The universe's elite warriors spend every evening, technically, sucking on a goat's udder. Heroic. By the way, table service here is also specific. You don't just walk up to the bar. The drinks are served by the Valkyries themselves. The poems even name specific waitresses, Frist and Mist. Odin personally orders them to bring a horn to this or that hero, and here kicks in a rigid social hierarchy. Valhalla is not communism where everyone is equal. This is a place where status is everything. At the table closest to Odin sit the legendary kings, Ragnar Lothbrok, Eric Bloodaxe, and you, a simple guy from the village who got lucky and caught an arrow with his teeth, you're sitting somewhere in the nosebleed section, near the drafty doors, and the Valkyrie will get to you last when the mead is already warm. And what do they talk about for eternity? Politics? Women? No, the main entertainment is Manjafnadr, the comparing of men. It's an ancient rap battle, but instead of rhymes, it's bragging about murders. "I killed 10, one shouts. "I burned down a monastery with my bare hands," replies another. And this often ends in a brawl right at the table, where heavy golden goblets are used as weapons. The atmosphere is tense. Imagine a wedding where all the guests are drunk paratroopers with PTSD. There is no peace. There is constant noise, laughter, clattering dishes, and screams of pain when someone accidentally, or not, gets their nose broken with a mug. And what about Odin? He sits at the head of the table, but he eats nothing. The texts say, Odin lives on wine alone. He throws all the meat from his plate to his wolves, Geri and Freki, greedy and ravenous. A god on a liquid diet, watching thousands of dead men devour an eternal boar. Part 4. The purpose of this madness. It's not a reward. It's prep for doom. And here we come to the main question. Why? Why gather this army? Why feed them immortal bacon? Why train them to kill each other? Because Odin is terrified. Valhalla is not a gift to heroes. It is a desperate attempt by an old god to delay the inevitable. Odin knows the prophecy. He knows about Ragnarok. He knows that at the end of time the giants will come, Fenrir will break his chains, and the serpent Jormungandr will crawl out of the sea. And he knows that he will lose. Here is the main, devastating secret of Valhalla. This army is not for victory. The Einherjar are not being prepared for triumph. They are being prepared to die a second time, permanently. When Ragnarok comes, these 432,000 warriors will march out of the 540 doors to hold back the chaos just long enough for the world to die and be reborn. They are speed bumps before the apocalypse, cannon fodder of the highest quality. The psychological state of the Einherjar is a separate topic for a dissertation. They live in a mode of constant waiting for the alarm. Their every morning starts not with the sun, which gets eaten, but with the crow of a rooster. In mythology, there are 3 roosters that will signal the end of the world, and one of them, Gullinkambi, Golden Comb, sits right on the roof of Valhalla. Imagine what it's like, waking up every morning to a rooster's crow and thinking in terror, is it just morning, or has it started? For 1,000 years in a row, every day could be the last. This isn't life. It's an endless panic attack disguised as a party. They aren't just training to hit enemies. They have specializations. They learn tactics against giants, Jotun, who are the size of mountains. They learn how to fight against the dead from Helheim arriving on the ship of fingernails, Naglfar. They know that Surtur's fire demons are coming for them. The Einherjar are special forces being trained to fight Lovecraftian monsters, armed only with axes and swords. And they know the odds are uneven. Odin doesn't hide the truth. He doesn't promise them a bright future. He promises them a glorious death. Again. Odin is that manager who knows the company is going under but forces everyone to work overtime on weekends. He is stockpiling resources, knowing that bankruptcy is inevitable. In the Christian paradise, the soul finds eternal rest. In the Norse Valhalla, the soul finds a job. A hard, bloody job, the finale of which is total annihilation. You live, train, and drink goat swill for 1,000 years just so that in the decisive moment you can be eaten by a wolf or trampled by a giant. There will be no happy ending. Conclusion. So, Valhalla is not about a reward. It is about a mentality. The ancient Norse didn't live in illusions. They lived in a harsh world where winter could kill you faster than an enemy's sword. Their mythology teaches one simple but brutal truth. You will die. Everyone dies. Even gods die. And the point isn't to avoid the end or defeat it. The point is to meet it standing up, weapon in hand, and maybe with a stupid joke on your lips. Valhalla is a monument to human stubbornness. It is saying to death, okay, you got me, but I am still going to fight, even if it's pointless. Especially if it's pointless. If you enjoyed this tour of afterlife logistics, subscribe to Just Mythin' Around. In upcoming episodes, we'll talk about why Loki isn't actually a villain, just a victim of bad PR, and why Zeus wouldn't pass a single sanity test. Grab your axes, take care of your goats, and remember, myths are weird. See you next time.
Hey, who let this smartass in? Release the wolves on him!